We are continuing to talk about rational indices, and now we're going to go through some more definitions here. So this is something we just need to commit to memory. So as you can see, we're now dealing with x raised to m on n. Previously, what we were dealing with was like x raised to 1 on some number. But as you can see now, we've got something other than 1 over something other than 1, so m on n. Now, what happens when we're kind of going from this rational indice notation to the root notation? Where does this m go? Where does this n go? This is where some colors come in handy. So I first want to talk about the denominator, so the n. Now, what happens to this n? Well, the n there becomes what is the nth root. So it becomes associated with the nth root of something. So that's what happens to the n. The m, so the thing in your numerator, is an interesting case. What happens to the numerator is either raised to the entire thing, or it's just raised to the thing inside the root. And we'll be seeing this in action as we go through. So let me just repeat that. The denominator, that is your rational indice, so the denominator of your rational indice becomes what the nth root is, when the numerator becomes either what you're raising the entire thing to, or what you're raising just the thing underneath this, the root to. And it doesn't make a difference as to which is which. And we'll be seeing this in an example soon. So if you're thinking at the moment, how on earth doesn't that make a difference? We'll be seeing that. So don't freak out. All right. But before we do that, let's see if we can rewrite the following. So here we have the fifth root of x squared. Now we need to remember this right here. So let's just zoom out. Let's keep this in mind. Remember that the denominator of the rational indice is associated with the nth root. So that means when I come to answer this, I know that this 5 is going to be the denominator. So I'm going to write that in. This here is going to be the denominator. Denominator. And this 2 here is going to be the numerator. So that means I'm going to be left with x 2 on 5. That's how you answer that. Let's come to the next one. Now, this is an interesting one because you might be looking at this and it's like, how on earth are these two different? And they're actually not different at all. You'd get to the same answer, but the only way that they look different is that instead of squaring the x, we're now squaring the entire thing, but this actually won't make a difference to our answer. This 5 is still the denominator, and this 2 is still the numerator. So it's still going to be 2 on 5. Now, you're going to just have to take my word for it for now, but this is true. When we go through some examples, you'll be seeing this in action. And I'm just looking at this. I misspelled numerator. Numerator. This is an English class. You shouldn't worry. All right, let's keep on going. This one, this 3 is going to be the denominator. This 7 is going to be the numerator. Do you like how I swapped to D to N now? Because I'm afraid of making another spelling mistake. So my answer here is going to be 7 on 3. And that's how we go from one notation to the other. So it's just really important that you get this in your head and you understand it. Also remember, we saw how to put this into our CASs. So you have to go to this button here to get this thing here. Okay, we'll pause here and then we'll go through some examples.